All right, ladies, gentlemen, and patriots, you are watching L9 Productions live broadcast in How to Dig related to QAnon. Today, our topic is going to be a Q post that discusses Sergey Brin. We're here with Patriot News live 24/7, and in addition, we're going to use all the folks that we have available in our Discord, and even the folks available on YouTube. They're free to post information if the mods can bring that down to help us in our dig. Today's topic is going to be related to a Q post discussing Sergey Brin and why he's important. We're going to delve into connections to Sergey and how recent news of today, which is July 26, 2018, is important, and how all this fits in to the Q map and what the deep state's plans are for us, our children, and how we are disrupting those plans with Donald Trump and the Patriots. All right, so to begin with, we're going to start with the Q post. And I think, I think you have that ready to drop. Yes, there we go. This is post 964, dropped originally on March 27th, 2018. Does somebody want to read this really quick? Anybody?
I got it. March 27, 2018, 23:03:07 Eastern Time. Why did Kim travel to China? Why was travel impossible in the past? What changed? What constitutes the need for F2F meeting, face-to-face meeting versus a secured call? What U.S. publicly traded company previously entered North Korea to establish comms? Think logically. In caps, why did Google visit Korea? In caps, why would the former chairman and CEO, in brackets himself, close brackets, of Google/Alphabet personally attend? Question mark. Who is Sergey Brin? Where was Sergey born? Track the, quote, family, in caps. Important, in caps. Think Cold War, in caps. Think KGB. US, China, North Korea, the number 3 in brackets. Facebook, in caps. Data dump. Who made it public? Who sold shares? 30 days from announcement. You can't imagine the magnitude of this. Constitutional crisis, in caps. Twitter coming soon. Google coming soon. Amazon coming soon. Microsoft coming soon. Plus 12. Current censorship all relates to push for power, in brackets, midterms, close the brackets. In caps, last stand. Election fraud, in caps, cases, in caps, open. DOJ, in brackets, many. Follow the family, in caps. Follow resignations, in brackets, business and government, close bracket. In caps, Biden/China, very important marker. Who made it public? Who really made it public? Who is making it all public? We are the gatekeepers of all, in brackets, by all, we mean all information. US greater than Canada, greater than EU, greater than Russia, greater than Iran, greater than MK, greater than Syria, greater than Pakistan. And then there's 3 arrows facing the right. Iran next, 700 billion military, in brackets, this year, all in caps. All in caps, why is the military so important? In caps, reread all. In caps, national security. In caps, national security. These people are stupid, in caps. Art of the deal. In caps, tidal wave incoming. In caps, buckle up. Q.
Okay, thank you for that. So there's a lot of information in this post. There's so much information in this post that we've got to break it down. We've got to be able to understand elements and pieces of this, connect it throughout the rest of the Q post and the rest of the Q map. But in order to understand how it connects, we're going to take a bite-sized chunk of this and dig down, and we're going to see where it leads us. Now, we have some indication of where it leads us because we've already done some of this work. So this is for informational purposes only. We're going to start with the discussion about why did Goog visit North Korea? Why would the former chairman and CEO himself of Goog Alphabet personally attend? Who is Sergey Brin? Where was Sergey born? Track the family, important. Think Cold War, think KGB. All right, so let's start with Sergey Brin. Sorry, go ahead.
I think he was born in Russia, wasn't he?
All right, so let's go ahead and drop some information related to this. And again, we're going to remind, we already have some folks dropping this. Be Free has some information dropped at 40 after the hour. Sergey Mikhailovich Brin, born August 21st, 1973. Russian-born American computer scientist and internet entrepreneur. All right, again, we're going to ask people to hold off on posting anything not related to the topic Sergey Brin and where we're going from there. All right, thank you. So, who was Sergey's parents? Anybody?
Somebody's digging, I think. Be interesting. What says, why did Kim travel to China? You know, why was travel impossible in the past? They usually go on by train from North Korea to China to Beijing.
That's definitely true. We're going to focus on Sergey, though, for right now. We're going to dig into Sergey. We're going to learn everything we can about him, his parents, his family, his wife/ex-wife, and their business interests.
Okay.
And as soon as you get some information, you know, feel free to pop up. So we have Mume dropping an article here related to his wife, Ann Wojcicki. We'll come back to that in a second here. Here's Lightbulb. Sergey Brin was born to Russian Jewish parents, Michael Brin and Eugenia Brin. They're both graduates of Moscow State University. Sergey's father was a mathematics professor at the University of Maryland. His mother was a researcher at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. All right, now understand Jewish-born Russians in Moscow during the Cold War, because the wall's still up during this time. You attend Moscow State University. Is this something important? What was Sergey's father studying? He says here he was a mathematics professor. What kind of mathematics? Can anybody find that information out? At the same time, if somebody can take Mama, Eugenia Brin, and see what she was doing before she came to the U.S. It says she was some sort of researcher at NASA Goddard Space Flight Center. Can anybody find when they came to the U.S.?
It says Be Free says that at the age of 6. So if we can get his birth date, can see what year that was then.
So he was born in 70.
His computer science was the PhD.
Mama? Mama was a PhD in computer science as well, or Dad?
It's the father.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Briefy's got some additional information here. Brin's mother, Eugenia, was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2008. All right, let's stick that away somewhere. Also, Ann Wojcicki it looks like he was married to Ann Wojcicki in May 2007. But let's find out, what did the parents do in Russia before they migrated when he was 6 years old? Is there any information about that?
It says his father was. Says his father was a math. It was a math.
Continue. So one way to search this is to type in dad's name, and this is where Russian might help. You almost need to convert dad's name into Russian characters and search his name. You may have Russian sites that pop up. I think you're going to find, if somebody's able to do that with a little translator, and I can translate it really quick for you, you're going to find out that he studied a particular kind of mathematics. You might see that in his University of Maryland work. And Mama, she worked for Goddard Space Center as a researcher. Anybody know what Goddard Space Center is for? So the objective here is to trace these parents all the way back to as far as you can. Learn as much as you can about his parents. Understand the relationship between the Soviet bloc at this time and the West. How did Sergei and his parents get across the Iron Curtain, especially if they were scientists with a very specialized skill? So light bulb has something interesting here. Research interest, dynamical systems in Riemannian geometry. Hamiltonian systems. You rank rigidity of Euclidean polyhedra. These are things that he was involved in or Mama was involved in. Michael Brin is Professor Emeritus of Mathematics at the University of Maryland. He's the author of over 30 papers, 3 of which appear in Annals of Mathematics. He's lectured at conferences and universities around the world. His main research areas are dynamical systems and Riemannian geometry. Can anybody tell me what those things are? Anybody?
Repeat that.
So it says here that Sergei's dad was a professor of mathematics at the University of Maryland. His expertise was dynamical systems and Riemannian geometry. In 2008, they established the Michael Brin Prize in Dynamical Systems. Can somebody tell me what dynamical systems mathematics is?
Is it nuclear?
Don't know. We should be able to pull up some information. Okay, well, somebody's still looking up the dynamical systems here. We have some information about when they came. The family applied for their exit visas. Nanan dropped this at 47 after. The family applied for their exit visa in September 1978. Sergei's father was fired from his job shortly thereafter, and his mother was also compelled to leave her job. For several months, they were forced to find any temporary work they could, which led his father to learn computer programming. Do you buy that his father learned computer programming after he left his job? And then on, that's good stuff. So all these links that we're finding here, we would be working in a folder. All of this stuff would be located in a folder. All of you would be having access to these links and spreading out researches through different topics. So what we've done so far is we've linked Sergei Brin from a Q post, researching his background, finding his mom and dad, going back in time, finding out when he came to America, when he was born. We see some interesting things related to his parents' background, mathematics, specialized types of mathematics, Mama, a type of scientist that allows her to go to work at Goddard Space Center. We're going to get to her in a second. So Sergei's dad, dynamical systems. Has anybody found it yet?
There's a few posts on here now, yes, about what dynamical mathematics.
The geometry thing looks almost like the combustion chambers in rocket engines. That's just what came to my mind, with a circle with a cone coming off the bottom of it.
All right, so light bulb got it here at 48 after the hour. I'm a little bit behind. The Lorentz attractor arises in the study of the Lorentz oscillator, a dynamical system. In mathematics, a dynamical system is a system in which a function describes the time dependence of a point in a geometrical space. Let me describe to you what the Lorentz factor is. This is very, very important. In the study of gravitics, anti-gravitics, electrogravitics, the Lorentz factor, the Lorentz equations are the key reason that allows them to function. How do I know that? Well, that's just my personal knowledge. But if somebody wants to Google Lorentz equations and UFOs, you're going to pull up a bunch of stuff. So Daddy isn't just a mathematics guy who taught himself mathematics. Daddy is a mathematics guy who is an expert in advanced theoretical mathematics, dealing with some of the most complicated topics related to physics. Do you think the Soviets would have just, you're free to go. Let's let you out of this country and let you go to the West?
Not back then.
Not back then. And he was Jewish. Very difficult for, maybe somebody can find out how Jews were treated during the Cold War time and whether they were allowed to attend Moscow State University. So Daddy is a scientist studying advanced mathematics, dealing with some of the most advanced topics of research that physics is studying. Okay. Mama, anybody find anything more on Mama? Oh, somebody got some good stuff here on Riemannian geometry, a branch of differential geometry that studies Riemannian manifolds. This is important because it deals with thrust vectors and force vectors and how a force applied on an object or a mass spreads out. And the Euclidean geometry deals with solids, and it gets down into the actual quantum state of solids and how they react in our universe. These people were not stupid, average people. Everybody follow?
Yes, sir.
So now we can track forward. Did he have any brothers or sisters? They came to America, somebody said, in 78.
There's a sister.
I'm way behind. I'm back at 49 after the hour. Go ahead and read it out.
Which one?
Somebody said there's a sister. Go ahead and read it out.
The sister is Gina Brin.
Does it say anything more?
I'm opening the link.
Okay, while you're opening that, I'm back here at 49 after the hour still. B-Free had posted in 1977, shortly after attending a mathematics conference in Warsaw and encountering many peers from the West, Mikhail applied for an exit visa. And for himself and his family, he and Yevgenia were both immediately fired from their jobs. But permission to leave came through in May of 79. So that's 2 years. 2 years they had no job before they were allowed to come to the West. Sorry, go ahead.
Should I start reading about Gina Brin?
Go ahead.
Okay, so this is an article from January 11, 2012. It's a very long article. I'll just try to get to the facts as far as the family and what they did at this point. Her name is Eugenia Brin, and she was 48 when she first noticed that her left leg was dragging. It took 2 years for doctors finally to diagnose her with early onset Parkinson's disease because she didn't have tremors or other easily indefinable symptoms. The diminutive Brin trained as an applied mathematician in the Soviet Union and then worked as a meteorological analyst at NASA's Goddard Flight Space Center in Maryland. Also, actually, is this the mother?
That's Mama.
Yes, yes, this is the mother of Sergey Brin. Would you like me to keep going?
Hold that thought right there. So looks like Mama was applied mathematics, and then so she ended up going to work for Goddard Space Center pretty early on. If somebody could go start looking into when she started to work at Goddard Space Center, how she got her job, contacts. But there's a piece of information I want to relate to everybody here that me and I dropped at 49 after the hour. Sergey, who turned 6 that summer, this is back when they immigrated in May 79, remembers what followed is simply unsettling. We were in different places from day to day. The journey was a blur. First, Vienna, where the family was met by representatives of HIAS, the Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, which helped thousands of Eastern European Jews establish new lives in the free world. Then on to the suburbs of Paris, where Michael's unofficial Jewish PhD advisor, Anatoly Katok, had arranged a temporary research position for him at the Institut des Hautes Études Scientifiques. Katok, who had immigrated the year before with his family, looked after the Brins and paved the way for Michael to teach at Maryland. So somebody might want to take Anatoly Katok and take a look at his background. And somebody else might want to take a look at HIAS, Hebrew Immigrant Aid Society, and see how these organizations might have been connected, financed, who Anatoly Katok is, his connections with politicians, and see if there's something that allows us to see that Sergei might have been, his family might have been a Russian plant. That's the indication from Q anyway. All right, so let me get caught up here. So, so Sergei's mom at age 48 got sick. Is that what you were saying?
Yes, she was diagnosed with early onset Parkinson's.
And Parkinson's, what is Parkinson's disease?
That's a neurological disease, isn't it?
Chaos Kite has posted here at 54 after the hour, Gina Brin's double Parkinson's mutation.
That's the one I'm reading from. I'm going to read this little paragraph. It says, in 2008, she was tested through 23andMe, a startup launched by Anne Wojcicki, who is married to Brin's eldest son, Sergey, a co-founder of Google. Among the variants, the company's basic consumer packages tests is a mutation on LRK2 gene that can lead to Parkinson's because, says Wojcicki, quote, our scientists recognized that LRNK2 was an important finding, close quote. While visiting California, Brin, known to his friends and family as Gina, provided a DNA sample. Quote, our family was one of the first to be tested, close quote. She says, quote, we are trying it out, close quote. The result was completely unexpected. She had the mutation on not one, but both LRNK genes. When I got the results, I thought, that's why, she recalls. There was some sense of relief to know there was a reason behind the illness. And we can go on. It's a very long article. I'll keep reading to see if there are any more pertinent facts.
That's okay. But the bottom line is Sergei's mom has a mutation, and it's a very specialized mutation that only a few people have. So we've latched onto that topic now. So keep that in the back of your mind. We filed that away in some folders. Now, just getting caught up on some posts. Looks like Gwenshi has posted some stuff here related to Sergei. You know, fled his family with Russia, but goes back on an exchange program in the summer of 1990, a few weeks before his 17th birthday. His father led a group of high school math students, including Sergei, on a 2-week exchange program to the Soviet Union. His roommate on the trip was future Carnegie Mellon computer science professor John Stamper. So, who is John Stamper? Carnegie Mellon University. Sergei's 17 years old. How old was John Stamper at this time? It seems like an unusual connection. Be Free got a post here that's also worth noting. This date in Jewish history, 1998, 2 computer scientists who disagreed on everything found Google, Larry Page and Sergey Brin. So we've got to find out who Larry Page is. So if somebody can dig through Larry Page and understand the background of him, where he grew up, where he went to school. Looks like somebody's got it here. Be Free, 1998, September 4. Computer scientists Larry Page and Sergey Brin filed papers to establish a company called Google. The heart of their nascent business was an internet search engine that used an algorithm developed by Page to produce unusual, helpful results for surfers of the World Wide Web. Anybody have anything on Mr. Stamper? Here's some information on the HIAS, founded in 1881, originally to assist Jews fleeing the pogroms in Russia and Eastern Europe. They touched the lives of nearly every Jewish family in America. From the beginnings in a storefront in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Okay, interesting.
There's some info there on Lawrence Edward Page, dropped by Sassy and Classy at 10:01.
Okay, Lawrence Page, born 73, March 26. Okay, that's interesting. Same year. American computer scientist, internet entrepreneur. He is the CEO of Google's parent company, Alphabet Inc., after stepping aside Google CEO in August 2001 in favor of Eric Schmidt. Interesting. Page is the inventor of PageRank, the search ranking algorithm. Page received the Marconi Prize in 2004 with Brin. And if you don't know who Marconi is, he died on the Titanic. He was really the inventor of the radio. Coincidence?
There are
Sorry, Cilantro, go ahead.
Oh, I was just making a joke. It was just another coincidence.
Go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to say the same thing. That's all.
All right, so where are we at so far? Let's summarize. We got Sergey and his parents. They come over in 79. They're both very, very intelligent computer scientists, mathematicians. They're not dummies by any stretch of the imagination. They get aided through this Hebrew organization to help immigrants from Russia and Eastern Europe come over into the West. Typically, those organizations help them make aliyah to Israel, but in this case, they came to the West. They make arrangements to them to Daddy to work in Maryland. We still haven't got that connection yet. Maybe somebody's got that. And Daddy, through his connections, takes a group of them back when Sergei's 17 to Russia in 1990, where Sergei meets with Mr. Stamper. This is an important connection. So, anybody find Mr. Stamper yet? There he is. Bulldog. John Stamper. I'm a member of the research faculty at Human Computer Interaction Institute at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh. The technical director of Pittsburgh Science and Learning Center Data Shop. Who is the wife of Mr. Page? Lucinda Southworth. Married in 2007. Interesting. Look, we already talked about how Mr. Brin was also married in 2017. Who was Brin's wife?
Lynn Wachkiki.
Wojcicki?
Susan Wachkiki, sorry.
Where did she go to school? What's her background? Some more information about Stamper. Educational system, big data, focused on big data research. So he's involved with computer science, Mr. Stamper is. Squinch has Michael Brin brought Sergei back to Russia on a 2-week school trip. Sergei's roommate was John Stamper. John Stamper is computer science professor at Carnegie Mellon University. Carnegie Mellon will be introduced the first school AI program. Did Brin ever attend school where Mr. Stamper was teaching? Where did Brin and Page meet? If somebody can start digging into how Brin and Page met, was it at school? Was it somewhere else? How did they come up with this idea? Ann Wojcicki, Bulldog dropped information on her. American entrepreneur and co-founder, chief executive officer of personal genomics company 23andMe. She was born in 73 as well. They're all the same age, roughly. Who is Wojcicki's? Oh, wait, here it is. Wojcicki is the youngest of 3 daughters, is born in San Mateo County, California. Her parents are Esther Wojcicki, nee Hockman, an educator, and Stanley Wojcicki, a physics professor emeritus at Stanford University. Her mother is Jewish American and her father is Polish. Where'd they come through? They came through Warsaw. Her 2 sisters are Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube. What? And a former executive at Google, and Janet Wojcicki, anthropologist and epidemiologist at the University of California, San Francisco. Epidemiologist. Interesting. Somebody who has anthropology and epidemiology. Does anybody understand the significance of that?
Epidemiology, is that bugs?
No, somebody want to pull up the definition?
It's the study of disease, essentially. More diseases, I believe.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
It's to do with communicable diseases, the study of any type of disease. And that's where you start getting into genetics and stuff.
Okay, so We know that disease can be sped through virus, genetic disorders, things like that. And she also studies anthropology, which is what?
It's history. It's buried things.
No,
Possibly
isn't that
extinct
the
viruses and such.
Anthropology. Somebody give me a definition out of Wikipedia. While you're digging that up.
Anthropology, the study of human societies and cultures and their development. I thought it had something to do with old animals. I was totally wrong.
Okay. So we have somebody who studies disease, some of which could be based on genetic hereditary factors, and somebody that also studies cultural development through history and how societies, races, genetics merge through history. Okay, stick that one in the bucket. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got Tesla Motors Model S backed by Google founders Brin and Page. Do we have any information yet how Brin and Page met?
What was Page's first name?
Larry Page.
Yeah, I just posted something here about the connection between Page and Sergey Brin. Page worked for a few years in the technology industry before deciding at the age of 24 to pursue a PhD in computer science at Stanford University. It was there as a prospective student that he met Sergey Brin, who was assigned to show him around the campus.
Wait, did you say Stanford University?
Yes.
Where was
Yeah, the drop at 908.com.
Where was Ann Wojcicki's dad teaching?
Stanford University.
Where did Ann Wojcicki go to school? So me and my parents were really clear, like, you should do something that's meaningful in the world. And I look at the Stanford campus community, and the people I grew up with were people who did things that were meaningful. They weren't necessarily financially successful, but they were contributing to society in some way. And so there was always that sense you should contribute, you should give back. Your children should look at you and be proud, what Wojcicki said. So did she attend Stanford?
That kind of implies it, does it not?
Doesn't say. She attended, so Wojcicki grew up on the Stanford campus, learned how to figure skate, play ice hockey, attended Gunn High School in Palo Alto, editor for the Oracle. She attended Yale University. Yale University. Graduated BS in biology in '96. She did molecular biology research at the National Institute of Health in University, California, San Diego. Molecular biology. Interesting. All right, so we've got some things now. So we've got Paige. And did Paige attend classes at Stanford? Did we establish that?
I believe he took computer science at Stanford.
It's for his
Okay.
PhD.
Gotcha. And Sergey Brin went to Stanford?
Yep, he was assigned to show Page around when he first got there as a prospective student.
And Wojcicki's dad taught what at Stanford?
Mathematics. Dynamical mathematics.
Stanley Wojcicki, a physics professor at Stanford University. So they probably would have had to take physics at some point in time. They might have crossed paths, especially if they were taking higher order mathematics and stuff like that. They might have crossed paths. let's say does anybody have anything they could find how Wochiki and Brin met? Do they have a story anywhere about how they met? Some articles here about 23andMe founder Ann Wochiki. You don't have your mic. Bulldog's got something here. 2006, Ann co-founded 23andMe with Linda Avi. Somebody might want to dig on Linda Avi. 23andMe is a privately held personal genomics and biotechnology company based in Mountain View, California. Mountain View. They're all located around each other. That provides genetic testing. The company's named for the 23 pairs of chromosomes in the normal human cell. The company's personal genome test kit was named the Invention of the Year by Time Magazine in 2008. Somebody want to dig some more on 23andMe and see what's going on there? So we've got Sergey Brin's mom has Parkinson's disease, genetic disorder. We've got his wife. She is a biologist involved with DNA. Her sister, epidemiology and the study of races, basically through history. We've got daddy physics professor, another daddy super mathematics guy in a field relating to physics, and mama, who is a scientist, computer scientist working with space at the Goddard Space Center. We have connections through Poland. Wochiki, daddy was from Poland. I wonder if there's a connection that shows when daddy came from Poland. Stanley Wochiki. Anybody can dig that up, find out if he came from Poland. When he came from Poland, was he there at the same time the Brins came through Poland? Q says these people do not marry for love. All right, so can you see all this data that we are literally digging into on one little piece of information related to a Q post? What does it all mean? Where are we going with this stuff? We don't know yet. We're seeing some connections, aren't we? We're seeing some very interesting connections. So can somebody tell me and dig into the backing of Google? Google just doesn't pop up overnight. You got to have financial backers. And same thing with 23andMe. Is there any financial backers? Just a reminder to anybody here, we are in the process of a video dig. All the topic is Sergey Brin. If you are just joining us, please do not drop anything into live text. Keep your posts and comments until we're finished with the dig. We'll notify you of that. Thank you. Okay, Wayne Reck, you got a video there for YouTube, how my meeting with husband Sergey Brin. Can you give me a summary of what's in that video? Right on cue, you mentioned something about Amanda Rosenberg. What's the situation with Rosenberg?
She said Hillary was Rosenberg.
Is it related to Brin?
She didn't say.
Okay, Bulldog's got something here. Since they knew they couldn't sell their technology, Brin and Page knew they needed to start their own company. They agreed to call the name Backrub. Oh, they agreed that the name Backrub had to go. Consider calling it Wattbox. Inspiration was found in the word Google, a term for a number with 100 zeros.
Shaq was one of the early backers of Google.
Stanislaw Wochiki, which is Stanley Wojcicki, born March 1937, Polish-American emeritus professor, chair of physics. Does it say when he came over? All right, we got some stuff here. Sassy's dug up on the 23andMe company. 2015, pursuing drug discovery under the direction of Genentech executive Richard Scheller. One of their main focuses is Parkinson's disease. What do you know? Same thing that Sergey Brin's mama has. They're utilizing the 23andMe database to search for rare variants associated with Parkinson's in the hope of developing a drug for the disease. Wait a second here. So what does 23andMe do? 23andMe is doing DNA testing for people like they send in their kits? So in 2016 project the company was developing that would provide customers with next-gen sequencing was ended because of the fear that the results would be too complicated or vague to fit into the company's goal of providing useful information directly to consumers, both quickly and precisely, according to CEO Ann Wojcicki. Also in 2016, 23andMe used self-reported data from customers to locate 17 genetic locations that seem to be associated with depression. Depression, you mean like genetically predisposed to being depressed? Interesting. Nanan has posted here about Stan Wojcicki. He and his brother fled from Poland to Sweden. Mother came at age 12 when communists came to power. Eventually came to the U.S. Doesn't say when, though. They were sent to boarding school near Buffalo. Attended Harvard. Later attended University of California, Berkeley. Okay. Yeah, Water Picker, we're doing a video dig right now, so the topic is related to this. Please, nobody else post anything related. Oh, somebody's got Rob TK, another post from Q that's related now. 23andMe, Ann Wojcicki's spouse, why is this relevant? From an Anon saying Q, so we have iris scanners for phones. When do we prick our finger and drop blood on the home button to confirm our ID? See where this is going? And he responds, 23andMe, Ann Wojcicki, spouse, why is this relevant? Q. Good connection, Rob TK. So now we have both of these people have been mentioned by Q. That's not a coincidence. 101 Airborne. First funding for Google company secured in August 1998 and formed a 100,000 contribution from Andy Bechtolsheim, co-founder of Sun Microsystems. Then June 7, 1999, a round of equity funding totaling $25 million was announced. Venture capital firms, Kleiner, Perkins, Caulfield, and Byers, and Sequoia Capital. Somebody dig into Kleiner, Perkins, Caulfield, and Byers and see if they're associated with any other companies. Looks like that they were not doing well initially. Didn't want to take the company public, which probably pissed off the venture capitalists, and they hired Eric Schmidt.
What was the last thing you wanted to get a dig on?
The first investors here, Kleiner, Perkins, Caulfield, and Byers. It's at 19 after the hour. 101st Airborne had the post. And then there's also Sequoia Capital. Bulldog has posted here, 23andMe is privately held personal genomics and biotech company based in Mountain View. Company had previously fraught relationship with US FDA. Bulldog, can you give me some more details about what their problems were with the government regulators? Do we have any info on that? Do they have some sort of legal issues? Oh, here's some stuff from Murph. Early Google investors. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Stanford University. Probably because they helped develop it there. That's usually a sign of government-backed research and development. UC Berkeley, Sequoia Capital, and Kleiner Perkins Caulfield believed to own up to 40% combined. Interesting. And then there's Andy, the Sun Microsystems guy. He only owns a small percentage. Yahoo invested $10 million into Google. Yahoo. Time Warner. Interesting. Sassy and Classy. Company had previously fraught relationship with FDA due to genetic health test, but as of October 2015, DNA tests ordered in the U.S. include a revised health component per FDA approval. They've been selling the product with both ancestry and health-related components in Canada since October 2014 and the UK since December 2014. In 2007, they became the first company to begin offering autosomal DNA testing for ancestry, which all the other major companies now use. Its saliva-based direct-to-consumer genetic testing business was named Invention of the Year by Time in 2008. Interesting. So they were, based on the other article, they are doing ancestry testing, getting people to send in their spit and giving them back information about their ancestry, who they might be related to, but then they're also giving them medical information. Is that what I understand from here? Yeah, it says both ancestry and health-related components. So if they can detect genetic disorders or somebody predisposed, then they would notify them potentially.
Or if you're predisposed and could go to the insurance companies and then cut you out of insurance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so Rain Rec post here. Anja states she met Sergey through visiting her sister Susan at the Google startup. Thought he was cute. LOL. Oh, listen to this. The domain name for Google was registered on September 15, 97. Company was incorporated September 98. It was based in the garage of a friend, Susan Wojcicki, in Menlo Park, California. Susan Wojcicki, CEO of YouTube. Anybody digging her background on YouTube? This is an interesting connection. So we got 23andMe, YouTube, and Google linked together here. Two of those companies are some of the top two social media tech companies in the world. Here's information on Kleiner Perkins. So is there any information in that article, the Kleiner Perkins article, about who they've invested in or any other companies they've started up? Oh, the Gwench has some information here about how Brin, along with Google, gave 23andMe nearly $4 million as part of a startup capital funding to get that going. Oh, interesting. Nan had posted here, the FDA warns Google-backed 23andMe to halt DNA testing services, published November 25th, 2013. So they had some sort of problem. Why would they halt testing services? Oh, Kleiner, me and I posted, Kleiner had, Kleiner Perkins, the venture capital company, incubated Genentech, pioneered the use of recombinant DNA tech to develop drugs for the most serious diseases. That's interesting. So one of the primary controllers, over 40% of Google, also created Genentech, pioneer in the use of recombinant DNA tech to create drugs. And now we got 23andMe getting funding from Google and Brin personally to develop this company. And we just read an article that said they initially started using these tests to gather DNA information, but they've stopped doing that now. They've stopped relating back medical information, but they are researching 17 specific DNA sequences to look at diseases like Parkinson's. I think we've made a connection here. Who had Parkinson's disease?
Sergey's mother.
And what nationality is she? Or what race?
Jewish.
She's Jewish. Wojcicki, Jewish. So there is a something specific to the DNA in her and a problem, and it looks like they're trying to solve it.
Murph says his father was Polish. I think we had that up there earlier.
Yep, he was Polish. So that's where he's from. Mama was American Jewish. Daddy was probably Polish Jewish. Remember the pogroms? But let's suffice it to say, here's a question. We're still looking for a couple different avenues. Kleiner Perkins, did they back any other tech companies? They got Genentech, they got Google. Through Google, they got money into, because they would have had to prove it, money into 23andMe as a startup. Did they back any other tech companies during this time? Because we got Ann's sister, who is over at YouTube. Did they back YouTube?
Oh yeah, YouTube, Google, and 23andMe are all linked.
But did Kleiner Perkins give them money?
Not sure about that one.
Jodar posted an article, Jewish Genetics, Why Carrier Screening is Important. The Jewish community is at increased risk for many genetic diseases that occur more frequently in this population.
A Bulldog has a little bit of an interesting post. It says about the FDA. It says, according to Ann Wachkiki, 23andMe had been in a dialogue with the FDA since 2008. In 2010, the FDA notified several genetic testing companies, including 23andMe, that their genetic tests are considered medical devices and federal approval is required to market them. A similar letter was sent to Illumina, ILLUMNIA, which I thought was interesting, which makes the instruments and the chips used by 23andMe in providing the service. 23andMe first submitted applications for FDA clearance in July and September of 2012.
Gotcha. So there's something that they stopped doing, and they've been able to start doing again, but now they're totally scrapped their ancestry type stuff is what it looks like, and they're focusing on drugs. Is there, somebody said, Cilantro, you said you had an article that came out today. Do you have that one available to drop?
Well, are you just talking about like the mainstream news articles? I mean, 23andMe was working with like this data company. Here, I'll redrop it.
Yes, yes.
I'm sorry, Doc. Also, I just wanted to say maybe we can look into this company that's making the instruments and the chips, because the name is Illumina, ILLUMNIA.
Okay, gotcha. Does Google itself or Alphabet, the parent of Google, are they doing anything else related to genetics within Google? Can somebody look at that?
It's interesting you said that they scrapped the 23andMe because I'm still seeing advertisements for it. I'm pretty sure that's what they call it.
No, we we read an article earlier. I thought it said that they were moving away from the communication of medical to their customers, but that they were moving into the drug avenue, and that's why I asked Cilantro for that article.
So maybe they never stopped collecting the DNA, but maybe what their business interest in that DNA is has shifted.
No. So they've got 5 million customers of genetic testing from 23andMe, and they're going to be selling it off or working with GlaxoSmithKline, and that is a drug developing company.
So they've gone through and collected 5 million customers worth of genetic testing data, and it's a huge amount of data. And now they're going to be using that data to work with SmithKline to develop drugs and benefit off of that data to generate money, drugs for combating certain diseases.
Sounds about right.
Okay, gotcha. Are Brin and Wojcicki still married? Well, somebody's digging that up here. This is an interesting 101, 100. Somebody said no. Okay. Tell me why they split. Is there a reason behind their split? While I read off 101st Airborne's post. Kleiner Perkins, formerly Kleiner Perkins, Caulfield and Byers, KPCB, is an American venture capital firm headquartered Sand Hill Road, Menlo Park, Silicon Valley. Specialized in investments in incubation, early stage, and growth companies since its founding in 72. That's 1 year before all these kids were born. The firm has backed entrepreneurs in over 850 ventures, including AOL, Amazon.com, Compaq, EA, JD.com, Square, Genentech, Google, Netscape, Sun Microsystems, Nest, Snap, AppDynamics, and Twitter. All right. Who are the partners in this? Oh, in addition to Menlo Park headquarters, the company has offices in San Fran and Shanghai, China.
I'm sorry, did you say Snap was one of the companies that was one of the startups?
Yep, Snap.
Well, I remember reading information that InQtel was one of the ones that helped that startup company. So are they the same, one and the same?
All right, let's find out what's behind KPCB. Now, they're a venture capital company. So one of the things I'm starting to think about here is, how does the Dark Hats, how does this cabal fund operations and yet keep it hidden? I would think they wouldn't have just one source. They might be multiple sources of funding. Sequoia Capital was mentioned in Google's case. So and since it's a venture capital company and they're over 40%, do we have any information about the partners that this Kleiner Perkins, Caulfield, and Byers, who their investors are? Because the way these venture capital firms usually work, they have portfolios of companies and funds that are managed for their investors. Can somebody tell me who their investors are? Because they've picked winners, so many winners, it's mathematically impossible. They have literally been able to generate billions of dollars of market capital if they are the startups of these guys. And growth companies, to get that lucky on growth companies with these big guys, something's telling me there's somebody behind them. So Wainwricht's got something here. What's this? Google wants to define a healthy human with this new baseline. What's this? Wayne, did you read through this article? Can you give us a synopsis? And Murph's also got an article, 10 of Google's smartest and wildest new projects. Is there something related to anything DNA or genetics in there?
Yes.
Go ahead, give me a synopsis. And then Stack, I want you to a synopsis of what you got here on Wired.
The first one is Google Genomics. Enables scientists and researchers to store, search, and run virtual simulations on vast amounts of data, namely millions of genomes. Stored data can be manipulated by using the same technologies that power Google search maps and making Google Genomics a robust scientific tool capable of exploring and sharing large, complex sets of information. Longevity, although it's not as...
Go ahead, go ahead.
I just flipped out of the article. Longevity, although it's not named as such, longevity is one of the primary concerns and efforts for Calico, which is short for California Life Company, owned by Alphabet. Calico has licensed various experimental drug compounds as well as announced extensive collaborations focused on the biology of aging and therapeutic approaches to age-related diseases.
Okay, do me a favor, search on Calico, see who the key scientists are, and see what information they got. So it looks like Stacka, you got some other stuff here that you've been dropping here, some good stuff here, something about Google giving away AI that can build your genome sequence, and something related to Amazon Google race to get your DNA. Can you give us a synopsis?
It just says here, Google released a tool called Deep Variant that they use for deep learning, the machine learning techniques that now dominate AI to identify all mutations that an individual inherits from their parents.
All right, did you just say Deep Variant?
Yes.
Like Deep Dream?
Hang on, just down here real quick. Deep Variant took first prize in the FDA contest promoting improvements in genetic sequencing.
And it's artificial intelligence backed algorithm. Is that correct?
Repeat that, sorry.
It's an artificial intelligence backed algorithm that they're using for this tool.
Yeah, it says machine learning techniques that now dominates AI to identify all mutations that an individual inherits from their parents, modeled loosely on the networks of neurons in the human brain. These massive mathematical models have learned how to do things like identify faces posted to your Facebook newsfeed, transcribe your inane requests to Siri, and even fight internet trolls.
So they can look at your genome and determine what your predisposed interests might be. If you're predisposed to be a person that might be depressed or addictive behaviors, they can like advertise to you. Let's just say
I took that to mean predisposed, like sicknesses. If you're predisposed to a disease.
So if you're predisposed to a disease that might be depression, or predisposed to a disease that might be an addiction, or literally, because I'm telling you this is where it's going, because that's where it's going. They are literally advertising to you on Google based on understanding who you are, your background, and it's mapping into the genome, and they advertise to you. I'm just speeding you up a little bit because now, Wayne Reck, you got an article here, Wired, Illumina, the Google of genetic testing. Did you read through that? Can you give me a brief synopsis? Wayne, you still there? Can somebody take a look at his article posted at 37 after the hour? Illumina, the Google of genetic testing, has plans for world domination. Right on cue. Let's see. Have you all discussed the Facebook connection yet? Oh, Priscilla Zuckerberg. Look at this. Right on cue's got a deal. His ex-wife, Ann Wojcicki, was with him before he became the cult Silicon Valley figure he now is. Brin is one of the world's richest men, currently valued at around $22.8 billion. Brin Wojcicki also have a lot of business involvement. Not only is she a sister of top Google executive, but she and Brin are also co-investors at 23andMe, a DNA testing company. Breakthrough Prize Foundation, a nonprofit organization they run with Mark and Priscilla Zuckerberg, and also co-buy real estate in their neighborhood. Oh, isn't that nice? Cozy family. And sister Wojcicki, she's now president of YouTube.
It all sounds very incestuous.
I mean, they've got control of pretty much all of the major platforms.
Looks like they're starting movies. Otis dropped something here about Tribeca. They're actually making movies that follow the journeys of genetic testing. So they're planting something into the consciousness.
Okay, I don't mean to say this in a negative way, but what's Zuckerberg's heritage?
Oh, dig on them. Ooh, Nanan has something here. Data protection issues. That's just the beginning. 23andMe reserves the right to use your personal information, including your genome, to inform you about events and try to sell you products and services. There it is. There it is.
All about the advertising, huh?
So I'm thinking, is there a connection between the CIA, any kind of dark hat funding behind this Kleiner Perkins company? Because this sounds like it's dark hats all the way. This is too much coincidence. They bring these people over. This is cabal. They bring these people over. They come through Poland. We got two people that, did they meet in Poland? Did they not? Don't know. They're top scientists. They each go into some very prestigious places. They end up getting connected. Did we ever find out the Carnegie Mellon guy's relationship? I don't know if we got there, but it's there. They end up at the university together. They end up meeting each other. They end up developing companies together. They end up getting financed by the same companies together. They end up all being super, super connected and super, super wealthy and involved in the same back end. We've already had this established in the Q post about Deep Dream. The Deep Dream is a collective collaboration project involving YouTube, involving Google, involving Facebook, Twitter, all of these little companies as the back end AI algorithm. We've already had that established from earlier Q posts. And now we're seeing 23andMe and recent news stories about 23andMe now working with GlaxoSmithKline to develop drugs. Why are they working? Okay, Wayne Reck, genomic research is heading into AI transhumanism. Trillium Asset Management, something here. Mark, is this related to our dig right now? Murph got Calico dropped here. Research development company mission to harness advanced tech understanding of biology that controls lifespan. Sergey Brin and wife split amid office affair rumors. Numerif, we're doing a dig right now on video. Anybody just joining, we are doing a dig on video, so please do not post anything outside of the dig until we finish this. We're very close. Sergey Brin and wife Ann Wojcicki gotten divorced. Is there any kind of military or government partner with Kleiner Perkins or any of those firms, or Sequoia, any of the startup firms? Lucinda Southworth, Larry Page, what's her background? Is she connected any?
I just dropped it. Yes. Linda Southworth, born May 24, 1979, in the U.S., Dr. Van Roy Southworth and Dr. Kathy McLean. Her father, a PhD from Stanford University, served World Bank, while her mother, an education physiologist, has set up the Republic of Georgia-based NGO, McLean Associates for Children, as also the U.S. organization Stepping Stones International.
Wow.
International organization to help mentally and physically challenged children across the globe. Her elder sister, Carrie, is an American actress and a model famed for essaying the role of Dr. Claire Simpson in the American Prime Zero General Hospital. Lucinda and Larry are blessed with two children born in 2009 and 2011.
Hey, Doc,
Oh, go ahead.
just a quick question. You said something about human or transhuman something a few minutes ago?
Artificial intelligence and transhumanism. Do anybody understand what that is?
What is transhumanism?
Somebody look it up.
The former Secretary of State Colin Powell serves as a strategic advisor to Kleiner Perkins.
Interesting. Any other advisors to Kleiner Perkins? I'm seeing all kinds of stuff, information flowing here related to longevity testing, total control of genome. Oh my God, all kinds of stuff here. Microsoft Corp and IBM involved, getting this information into the cloud.
That was from the second post that I posted, like way up further, that insert.
Oh yeah, I'm 98 posts back.
I can drop it again if you want.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm just. Oh, here we go. Andy Chen, former Kleiner Perkins. Before joining KPCB, Andy was an analyst at the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency, covering science, tech, and weapons. In his role, he provided intelligence to senior U.S. policymakers, including the President of the United States. Early in his career, Andy built and led the contingency recruiting practice at Riviera Partners. What the hell is that? Contingency recruiting practice at Riviera Partners, a leading recruiting firm that specializes in building teams for high-growth startups. Can somebody say, we already have the teams identified, we're just finishing through on our plans?
Google is drafting a military projects policy. It's going to formulate a policy around defense and military contracts, and that was following the fallout from its involvement in the Pentagon's controversial Project Maven program.
All right, Bulldog also has Al Gore and Colin Powell were investors in both Kleiner and Sequoia. So they're coming in it both ways, getting money in here.
And Lucinda Southworth's father is also, it looks like, involved in genetics and your family tree and that type of thing. So there's genetics involved there too.
Oh, interesting. Look at this. So Lucinda Southworth, born in '79. Her father, PhD holder, Stanford University, served World Bank, while her mother set up the Republic of Georgia-based NGO, McLean Associations for Children. U.S. organization, Stepping Stones International. helping mentally and physically challenged children across the globe.
Yes, I read that earlier. So there's another couple of names we need to look into.
All right. So let's follow what we've got here. We have taken 3 or 4 lines from a Q post that has so much more to it, and we've spent an hour and a half digging on this, and we have gone down multiple little trails. And here's a summary of what we've learned. Sergey Brin, born 1973. His little buddy, Paige, his wife, Wojcicki, all born 1973. Sergey's daddy and mommy, excellent, top-notch, Moscow State University trained scientists, tops in a specialized field for daddy related to Lorentz dynamic systems modeling. Very, very specialized mathematics used in electrogravitics and advanced propulsion technologies that are classified above top secret, classified USAP projects. Okay. We have Mama, who's also very astute computer scientist, mathematician working at Goddard Space Center. Mama's got genetic disorder that is hereditarily passed on to not only her, but her children. Sergey's children and Anne's children are susceptible to this disease. And it is one of the primary reasons why Anne and Sergey split, according to a lot of news sources that we didn't dig into right now. But it's there. We have Sergey meeting with Larry Page and going to Stanford University where Anne Wojcicki's father taught physics. No coincidence. They met. They worked together. They knew Anne's sister, and they brought her in. They started working together and she was one of the initial people in Google in her garage. Okay. So they had met, they had known each other while they were at Stanford. All right. Moving forward, we have initial financing for this company. And it's not any secret that this company, Kleiner Perkins, or whatever they are, picks them out. Because they also picked out the YouTube relation to Wojcicki's sister going to YouTube. There's a reason for that. They also picked out Genentech. They also picked out Zuckerberg. They also picked out all the other high-tech companies that are now running the world. What do we know about the cabal? The message they sent to Trump on July 3rd, 2017, we control tech, Twitter, Apple, Amazon. Okay, that's why they control tech, is because they've planted their agents in at the very, very beginning of all of these companies to control it. And what are they doing to control it? What are they studying to control it? They're studying not only the deep dream, which is spying on and gathering up all of our information and putting it up into the cloud, which we understand is part of the CFR Trilateral Commission technocracy plan. We also understand and see that they're gathering information about our very existence, our genome, and putting it out there on the cloud and monetizing the technology. But they're also weaponizing it. And don't think that they aren't. And I'm going to tell you, one of the other people, if we keep digging on this thing, you're going to find connection to DARPA in the Kleiner Perkins. DARPA as an advisory to these organizations and the startup of these organizations. So these are DARPA project ideas. They get processed through the universities. They get processed through their top scientists that are recruited around the world, the cabal. They're connected. And what are they trying to solve? Longevity issues and genetic mutations. Why is the race of this bloodline susceptible to genetic mutations? Because they've intermarried and intermarried and intermarried, and they are trying to live forever. If we keep digging like we did one night, this is an example, If we keep digging, we are going to find some very deep, dark people associated with Google that have written some things that are very, very scary and dark about what their plans are ultimately for the transhumanism component and living forever.
I got it right here.
Go ahead, read it, Jodar.
This Project Maven, and you know what a Maven is, right? Is a hotly contested topic among top Google executives. This intelligence, let's see, Google's head of defense and intelligence sales, Fei Li, chief scientist for Google Cloud and head of Stanford's artificial intelligence lab, expressed concern. Avoid at all costs any mention of or implication of an artificial intelligence. Weaponized artificial intelligence is probably one of the most sensitized subjects of AI, if not the most. This is red meat to the media to find ways to damage Google. I do not want what would happen. I do not know what would happen if the media starts picking at the theme that Google is secretly building artificial intelligence weapons or artificial intelligence technologies to enable weapons for the defense industry.
Understand that EA, if any gamers on here?
EA Sports, I think I did play Tiger Woods golf on it.
Yeah.
EA. Otis, what you know about EA? What do they make?
It's all the games. They make all the games that people play online.
What's the latest craze in online gaming?
I don't do it anymore, so I don't know.
Midnight.
Oh, Warcraft?
No,
EA do a lot of simulation games as well.
Right, virtual reality. That's what Bulldog says.
Virtual reality. Now, did anybody pull up the Deep Dream images? We'll post one here, just one. Somebody pull up a Deep Dream image with those freaky eyes. Don't stare at it. Oh, right on cue's got a link between Milner, Zuckerberg, 23andMe, and the dossier in Uranium One. When we conclude this video, we can continue looking into this stuff and keep going on. But we're nearing the end of this particular dig introduction. Anybody got a picture of the Deep Dream images?
What about Deep Mind? Executives at London's based Google subsidiary Deep Mind include founder so-and-so. I posted it a little at 10:57.
Gotcha. All right, there's an image. Jodar posted it. People on YouTube, anybody else, we're going to delete this image in just a second here, okay? Can you see how freaky weird it is? All right. I want to start praying right now.
Looks like 10 eyes and 10 horns.
All right, I went ahead and deleted them. They're in the video, but just so you're not staring at that in a long time. Let me explain to you what this is. This is artificial intelligence combined with genetics. Whose genetics? That's the key. And I'm not going to go above 40,000 foot at this point in time. But suffice it to say, if you stare at these images long enough, you're going to feel something creepy. Very creepy.
You mean alien genetics?
Don't know yet. So suffice it to say that Deep Variant is more than likely a offshoot of Deep Dream. Deep Dream has its beginnings, as we've studied, in CIA workshops that come out of the study of MK Ultra and mind control. Okay, as far as virtual reality is concerned, your kids other people's kids, are literally playing games with which the melding of this deep dream background into the virtual reality world is present. And you must understand that. Their goal in weaponizing virtual reality is literally to connect to your innermost self, your consciousness. And their goal in the genetic study is to prolong their longevity, control the genetic condition that is inherent in their bloodline, that is degrading their bloodline, and to live forever and to wipe out those that they don't want. Think about the plan.
Who are eugenists?
And what race is this that's doing it?
Well, they are all Jewish, but are they really Jewish? Are they really Judeo-Christian type people? Or are they a certain bloodline?
Zionists.
Reptilians.
They're Zionists.
They're Khazarians.
What's a
And
Khazarian?
And what did we learn about the Merovingian and the head of the 13 families? The Merovingian descends all the way back to Sumerian and Anjou province in Avignon, and literally means angel vine. They believe that they are a merged hybrid of angels and man, descended and transplanted as one of the tribes or in one of the tribes in ancient Israel, and that their bloodline has propagated.
All I can say is God bless Trump came along, eh?
Sorry, did I cut out there?
Okay, so is this the reason why they dominate finance, they dominate entertainment?
They seek to control. That's the bottom line. This is going to conclude our dig video for now. Hopefully everybody's had a chance to learn how we can start with some basic lines in a Q post and start literally compiling and gathering hundreds of pieces of data collectively as a group, so that the group can understand and we can store this data offline to be able to refer to. It's going to lead in other avenues. It's going to lead in a lot of other avenues, and start connecting the map of what these people are, who they are connected to, how they are financed, and what their purposes are. And now you can understand just how much of a web this is. You can appreciate that it's not just a Hillary Clinton that needs to be brought down. It's not just a Barack Obama. These are political leaders. That is one aspect of the cabal or the dark hats of the deep state. It's a worldwide effort, and it is a worldwide issue. And it's going to take all of the patriots and all of us to come together collectively through prayer, through sharing information and truth, to be able to shed the light on just how nefarious these people are and what they're doing. So thank you, everybody, for participating. This is going to conclude our video for tonight. Hopefully you will join us on Discord or in our live YouTube broadcasts. We broadcast 24/7. Thank you and good night.
And our doctor, on the behalf of L9, thank you so much. That was fantastic. We all really appreciate your insight and guidance. Thank you.